Today, we're going to talk about Ateneo, Adamson, Salle, and FEU, and what to watch out for this upcoming preseason. All that and more. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gablim, and Maui Yap. What's up, guys?
Sa wakas, nakita na natin ang mga Team A naglalaro. So, ako sa mga Team B actually. Gusto ko makita yung mga Team A. Gusto ko na makita yung upcoming teams for the UAAP. And it's starting right now.
Nag-uumpisa na ngayon, no? So, full-blown preseason na tayo, Maui.
The players that matter, as they say. Diba? The season players.
Okay, so that's actually going to be a preview of what we're going to talk about today. Kasi you saw it in the title. We're going to talk about what to watch for each team, for each UAAP team in the preseason. And we're going to split this into 2 episodes. So we'll talk about the first 4 teams, Ateneo, Adamson, Salle, and let's talk about FEU. And then the other teams we'll talk about in the next episode. So I'm onti pa lang, kakastart pa lang ng preseason, but we've seen some of these teams perform. And by the way, meron ding upcoming battles this weekend. There's a big one, Ateneo versus Salle. It's always exciting if it's a rivalry game. So something to look forward to this weekend. But let's just consider this discussion. I think we're uploading this tomorrow, Saturday morning. So let's consider this a preview to that Ateneo Salle matchup on Sunday. So let's get started. First team, Ateneo, your team, Maui and Gab. So what?
Oy, team mo rin yan.
Team ko rin. Ay, hindi. Ibig sabihin,
Hindi na champion.
your Ateneo Blue Eagles, di
Yung
ba?
porket nag-last place lang, yung jump ship ka na, hindi pwede yan.
Oo. Siyempre, doon ako sa nananalo, Gab. Doon ako sa nananalo, di ba? Ano pang silbi ng dual citizenship ko, di ba? Anyway, so, what are you excited for? Gab, let's start with you. What are you excited for in Ateneo so far? What have you seen and what are you looking forward to sa preseason na to?
There are a few things that I'm gonna watch for Ateneo. Again, sabi ko nga, we were in last place last season. And we have to see improvement. That's the one thing I am most looking forward to. We have to see development and improvement from the young guys who were there last season, the first year and second year guys. We have to see improvement. For Jared Bahay, we have to see if he can be a better defender. We have to see if he can shoot better. We have to see if he can be that go-to scorer that everyone is trying to let him be. For Sean Tuanyo, we talked about him in our last episode, in our top wings for season 88. Can he shoot better from the free throw line? Can he shoot better from anywhere on the court except at the rim? Because we all know he can score at the rim. Can he shoot better from anywhere? Drew Bongo, can he shoot consistently from the outside for once? I mean, there are games where he shoots 3 to 4 threes, and there are games where he doesn't even hit the rim in all of his shots. So, how? Is there going to be improvement on that end? Sino ba? Kyle Gamber, can he actually get consistent minutes? We all know he can provide offense. Can he defend and get consistent minutes? Ian Espinosa, I think we know what he is already at this point, but can he be a better scorer? Can he not dribble the air out of the basketball? You know, there's a lot of things I want to watch. This is I wouldn't say a make it or break it off season or season in itself for these young guys. But as Ateneo fans, we do want to see development. Kasi last year, yung medyo may pa sila may konting understanding pa tayo as Ateneo fans. Yung kami Lamawi and
Maikli patience.
Oh,
Ang Ateneo community. Parang Salle.
Oh, last year may konting pa tayo. Okay, puro rookies. Halos we're playing second year and first year players as part of our rotation. We were starting as 6'3" to 6'4" Chris Porter at center. Diba? Medyo may understanding na gano'n na, okay, the expectations are not as high this season. Kasi nga, yung puro bata. But now, may 1 year or 2 years yung under their belt yung mga rotation guys, how are they gonna step up? They should be better. They have one off season to train. They have one off season to get in shape, to build muscle, to build their skills on their games. So we do want to see that, diba, on that. The other thing, and I'm watching for the Blue Eagles is the front court. Now, we saw already their game against St. Clair in Asia Basket. They're starting a taller front court. Oh. There's no Balogun in sight, but they have new FSAs who look good. Who've looked good, si Divine Adili, and I forgot the other one's name. Guys, just refresh mo na lang sa akin. And then we've seen flashes already of Kimani Ladi with the Team A guys. You know, previously, so he's only been playing with the Team B guys. Now he's on the main Team A roster. What type of player is he? Is he someone who can provide some defense? Is he someone who's a liability on defense? Is someone who's like Kai Balungay, who stretches the floor, but he can go inside. He's athletic. He played as a wing in college in the US. So is that part of his game? How is Tab Baldwin you're gonna use him? The FSAs look promising, but what are their weaknesses? What are their strengths? Which one is gonna most likely be in the lineup? We do want to see this. Our front court was abysmal yung last season. Again, we started such a small center. Balogun was unplayable. Even towards the end of the season, he was not being played anymore. So that's something I want to watch out for. And the other thing is, who among the perimeter guys is actually in line to make the roster? Ateneo has a ton of guards and wings. We know this. We have in their first preseason game, we didn't even see sila Asoro, si Lebron Nieto. I'm blanking on the others. Basta there are a lot. Sila Marcos Nicolas, all these recruits. We haven't seen them fully. How are they gonna perform? Are they gonna be in the rotation? Diba? If we're gonna do our luck maybe or na, pangdating ng season, we have to watch right now. Ano ba
That's true. That's a good point.
Diba? Ano ba yung mga pinapakita nitong mga batang to, and who is most likely yung gonna be in the rotation and gonna be in the lineup? Yun sa akin yung most interesting yung for the Blue Eagles. Also, sana hindi naman sila yung tampakan ng big teams. No? That's something also na, especially Lasal.
Mga Sunday in their home court.
Lasal yung palagi tayo tinatampakan in the past few off-season, the past few months, diba? Because they're just so big. Is our front court gonna be able to match up with a Mike Phillips? Probably not, but can they hold on to, can they contain Mike Phillips? Can they match up better? That's what I'm trying to watch. And hopefully that the team is competitive. Yun naman yun sa akin eh. Last off-season, remember guys, hindi na nanalo tong Ateneo team against anyone, NCAA or UAAP. They were not winning at all. So that turned out to be a pretty bad sign for the season, and it came true. The season was not as successful as we wanted, and it starts here. It starts now. In the preseason, I think a lot of Ateneo fans are looking to be hopeful, especially after that last place finish. And I'm sure si Maui humingiti na. I'm sure you're hopeful din to. Maui, what are you watching for the Blue Eagles?
Well, you mentioned number one. I think the most important thing to watch out for is that FSA slot, diba? Kasi we haven't heard naman any big man go to Ateneo right now. So I don't think we can expect any of the locals to really shore up yung front court ng Ateneo. I like what I saw with Divine Adili. He doesn't look like a rookie. I think I sent some of the clips to some of my basketball groups, friends. They were saying, is that guy really from high school? Diba? So he's straight from high school.
Grade 12 graduate.
Grade 12 graduate, straight from high school, 5 years eligibility. I think that's music to my ears. Diba? Kasi Balogun was a college prospect already when Ateneo got him. So I wasn't that sure that that was the right direction. It was really more of a band-aid solution, as we all know, with Victor Balogun. Last minute addition na yan because Ateneo lost God's love last off-season. Now, it looks like, from my perspective right now, that Divine Adili could be that FSA. Diba? The last time Ateneo had an FSA who was straight from high school, we all know what happened. Diba? So, he looks like a good prospect. Diba? But that was against St. Clair. So, mahirap pang to judge his performance. I think the matchup against LaSalle this Sunday is a good indicator if he will be playable, if he will be useful come season 88. LaSalle has the best center, has the best big man in the UAAP. I would say even more so than the FSAs. Si Mike Phillips is probably the best big man. There's a reason why this guy was second in MVP voting last year and is actually the heart and soul of LaSalle, I would say even more than Kevin Kiambao. Kevin Kiambao brought yung generational talent, but Mike Phillips brings the edge for LaSalle. So that's something to look out for. I think yung big man ng Ateneo, di ba, we've heard rumors that si Porter, we haven't seen Porter, so maybe the rumors are right that he might not be with the team next season. But really, Kimani Ladi and Adili are gonna be very important. I would say the most important pieces for Ateneo next season. I've loved what I've seen also with Ladi. Very similar to kay Balungay, how he plays. He can play the outside, he can drive to the basket, but si Ladi looks more like a wing player than a power forward. I would say si Balungay kasi is natural power forward in my opinion. Plays more of a big man. Si Ladi drives to the basket more. But very small clips, very small set of
sample size, Maui. Small
sample size. Sorry, that was the word. That was we only have a very small sample size, so we don't know. Kaya very good test actually, LaSalle, di ba? How they match up. I would say LaSalle is the second favorite, second to UP to be the champions for next season as of the moment. Di ba? We never know what will happen in the off season. Maybe may mga pasabog pang biglang magpo-pro. Diba, we've seen a couple of players from LaSalle go pro, but it's gonna be a very good test, and it's gonna be against their buddy, si Mason Amos. Second, I think si Gab mentioned it most, basically development of the young guns. I would like to see Jared Bahay be healthy for the whole season. Will he improve on the defensive end? Will he be able to score more efficiently? Kasi grabe rin, if you look at the shooting numbers of Jared Bahay, it was very up and down. Last season, there were games that he was probably 6 for 11, but there were games I think that he was 1 for 13. Di ba? Kaya very inconsistent pa. But that is something you expect from a rookie, especially a guard, di ba? To adjustments to happen in the UAP. What I like about Bahay is yung feel for the game and not really turning over the ball a lot. And I think si Tuano, di ba? I think everyone is thinking about Tuano from his performance last season. He had his best game, I think, against LaSalle last year. So I'm excited to see how he fares this Sunday. I would say that he's a jump shot and a decent free throw clip away from being potentially a star in Ateneo, a star wing player. So that's something to watch out for. And si Gab mentioned si Bongo, I would like to see him more consistent. I think he will be playing his natural position, yung 3 slot this season. From the clips that I've seen yung Team A, I think si Tuano is starting at the 2 sometimes and si Bongo is starting at the 3. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these two wing players carry over their breakout seasons from last season. But yeah, generally speaking, and lastly, sama si Gab mentioned also si Nieto. Is he healthy? Kasi diba, I think he tore his ACL towards last season around September to October.
Close to the start of the season na yun diba? So, recent pa rin.
When Gab mentioned him, I was counting actually kasi minimum 6 months. So, it's at the 6-month mark, I think right now, 6-7-month mark. So, is he healthy? I think he's also a cornerstone. Diba? When you have a successful top Baldwin team, it always comes with a good perimeter defender who knows how to shoot the ball. I think that's where Ateneo really struggled a ton. 'Di ba? Last season when they were starting si Kitevis and playing in 30 minutes a game. But generally speaking, it looks like there's some glimmer of hope for Ateneo. I think better yung outlook, better yung chances for Ateneo this season than last off-season. Hopefully no injuries to no surprise injuries and no surprise exits near the season like last off-season. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic, and let's see if they can face Lasal and bring their A game. 'Di ba? San Beda tomorrow and then Lasal on Sunday.
Yung gusto ko lang ng something else, I just wish na si Divine Adili ngayong maging FSA natin for season 88 so that I can create a lot of puns from his name. Like kung makadunk siya, divine intervention from Divine Adili, yung something like
Dapat
that.
steal yun, divine game-winning steal, divine intervention.
Diba? Divine intervention. What a divine pass from Divine Adili, diba? Sayang si God's Love eh. He had the perfect for those puns eh. But now we have Divine. Sammy, what are you watching for? For your former team?
Baka maging interested na rin ako sa Ateneo this coming season from what I've seen so far, but kidding aside, I think na-cover nyo naman na lahat. The two things that I had, number one, the front court. So Divine Adili, Kimani Ladi, small sample size pa lang, but I'm sure a lot of Ateneans were hyped kahit na it was against St. Clair. They didn't have an FSA, or they didn't have a big guy that could match up to the FSAs, but you're excited kasi the bar was set so low last season. Alam niyo naman yun. So that one, and then I also had Lebron Nieto on my list just because I think the guys that left the team from last season, si Chris Kuhn and then si Kiteves, I think these guys like si Kimani Ladi and Lebron Nieto could perfectly slot in and replace those guys, especially sabi mo nga Maui, si Lebron being a good perimeter defender but also be a threat from the perimeter, like 3 and D, legit 3 and D, hindi lang D. So those are the guys that I'm looking out for. Like sina Shantuanyo, I'm excited to see yung growth din nila, but I'm thinking about it like from yung perspective kasi of a preseason din, and I'm expecting more of like the new guys to get more minutes, so that's what I'm watching out for, and medyo yun yung may kita nyo later when I talk about the other teams, then mas yun yung tinitingnan ko. So moving on, let's move on to the next team. So let's talk about the Adamson Soaring Falcons. I think they had the game against FEU last week. Let's go with Gab later because alam kong ikaw ang Adamson stan. So let's start with Maui. What are you watching out for in Adamson this preseason?
Actually, very similar with NU, diba? The question every season is the same with Adamson. Are there a Final Four contender, or can they transition to a championship contender come UAAP season? I think yun talaga, diba? You want to be able to do that, but as si Coach Nash always says, it's very challenging because of the funding that they get versus the other teams. But they basically have an intact core. Still, Manzano is still there, diba? Montebon is still there. A lot of players are still coming back. I think that's their main advantage coming to the season. I don't want to underestimate this team anymore for the third straight season. Diba? I would think that at the minimum they should be Final Four contenders. They should have a chance to be that team. It really boils down to consistency. It boils down to, I think last season very important and 3-point shooting. So I would look at Adamson's are they still going to shoot a lot of 3-pointers? Do they have more 3-pointers on their lineup? Diba si Noah Pacquiao didn't make the lineup last season, ba? I think, but was one of the players that really shined no off-season with his 3-point shooting nonetheless. But yung recruits, diba? Adamson usually surprises us middle of the off-season or late off-season with some recruits. Hopefully no more recruits like the Ron Jones na
Sabi ko na naman, may mention.
no more recruits like the Ron Jones that get us up from our seat and surprise us that Adamson has finally gotten 80 recruits, diba? I hope that, I mean, it's a good thing that they still have an intact lineup, diba? And some of their top players, I think, from the juniors division have committed. Grabe yung blow from last off-season, diba? Losing four of your top players from the juniors division. I think that's something they have to work on, diba? Kasi if you're a team that lacks funding, then you have to basically go grassroots, diba? And make sure your high school program is good. Make sure those guys are loved. Those guys are develop yung love for the school so that they could eventually represent them in the seniors division. I think that's something they have to make sure, given that they're a smaller program than the top tier schools. But it's hard to diba? We should learn our lesson to not underestimate any team that Coach Nash has in the UAAP. I think every season naman that they surprise us. They are underdogs. They are dark horse teams. But it's gonna be interesting to see who will start also at point guard next season for NU. Will they retain also their FSA? For Adamson. For Adamson, that's the same question for NU in our next episode. But yung off-season performance for Adamson will be key to determining probably yung players who will get into the rotation. But I don't think it will be an indicator of where they will be come the UAAP, because that's been the case. They struggle in the off-season, but they surprise during the season. Yeah.
Yeah, ako... Oh, Sammy, you were gonna say something.
Hindi, I was gonna comment. Yung sa FSA, I think nung naglaro sila, they played 2 FSAs. The other one played before niya, yung si Gaye, yeah. And then there was another one, I think si Ojerica didn't play. So, may 3 FSAs sila na options, di ba? Yeah.
It's a great segue to my point, man. And one thing I'm watching for in Adamson, same as Ateneo, the front court. This is Cedric Manzano's last season with Adamson. Who is their next front court guy? They survived.
Kobe Demisana.
Yeah, actually, I want to watch Kobe. I watched him in the past weekend in their first game. Still a bit rough around the edges, but you can see that there's something. He has good touch from the free throw
Parang
line.
nag-bulk up din ba siya? Parang he looks bigger.
A bit, although he is still a bit slight.
He's still skinny. He's still skinny, pero hindi yung payatot when he graduated from high school.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for him. Remember, Kobe Demisana is one of the players who unfortunately got slashed 2 playing years because of the dumb UAAP rule. And I'm rooting for him to be part of the rotation and show his wares. And with Cedric Manzano leaving after season 88, he has, the runway for minutes. Also, the FSA situation. Who is going to be lined up? Are they going to stick with OJ Ojericre, who's more of a defensive center, a guy who gobbles up rebounds but delivers?
He's solid.
Yeah, he's a solid center. Very important
defensive center,
on why they're a good defensive team. But he offers little to no offense at all. Is that what you want? Or are you going to replace him with someone else? Like si Alugay. Although he's also a bit rough, but maybe he could score around the rim more. Si OJ talagang wala eh. So that's something I'm watching for Adamson. That front court needs to be shored up if they want to contend for the Final Four or even even contend for a championship. Which brings me to my second point and what I'm watching for Adamson. I think si Maui, you mentioned it. I want to see upside for the Adamson Soaring Falcons. For 2 out of the last 3 seasons, they've had a playoff for the Final Four. Diba? Tama diba? Nung season 85, they had a playoff with LaSalle.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 straight seasons na. So, nag-playoff sila with Ateneo also in season 86. And also in season 87. I think yung nag-playoff din sila. Diba?
Mm-hmm.
Tama?
Yeah, parang 3 of the last 4, something like that.
Yung something like that, they've always battled for the Final Four. But as Maui said, what's the upside? I want to see some of the guys step up. We all know what yung Montebon yung can deliver. I think nung he top scored in their first preseason game in the Asia Basket Tournament. Cedric Manzano, I think we know what he is already. If you need him to score inside, he will score inside. But who else? Can someone like Royce Mantua or Manu Anabo yung step up more? Can some of the
Kala
young
ko Ron
guys?
Jun.
Well, I don't think they're playing anymore. Anyway, I hope they're not. I hope they give
Wala
their
sila nung first game. Wala sila sa
their
Asia
their
Basket.
juniors team is coming in to their seniors division. So I do hope they give the spot to them. That's just me. But yeah, I want to see some upside. You know, kasi if I see that they're playing the same style and playing close games, slow yung defensive games, but not really anyone, separating themselves as probably that main guy. They're probably gonna be in the same position as they were last season, which honestly it's great for the Adamson community that their team is competitive, but also kung gaya na kayo for the past 3 or 4 seasons, at some point you might wanna step up, diba? Sabi nga ni Maui, you have to step up to the top tier. So that's what I'm looking for Adamson in the off season in these preseason games. Is there anyone who can give them an extra level, especially offensively? We all know what they can give defensively, but offensively, can they find someone to step up and step up their level of play and step up their scoring? Because again, otherwise, we'll see them probably again for a playoff for the 4th slot, which it's gonna be exciting, and I'm happy for the Adamson community that they're battling for the Final Four. But at some point, you have to ask, is this it? Is this it for us? Ito ba yung ceiling natin? At some point, kailangan tumaas yung ceiling, and Adamson has to aim higher. Maui, Sam.
Yeah, good point. Ako Kobe de Mesana din, guy that I'm looking forward to watching this preseason, has been in the UAAP Seniors Division radar the past 2 years, but we haven't seen him play a single game. Lost 2 years of eligibility, so he has to get started quickly. And I think Adamson is a good place for him to develop and to
Because
get
there
minutes.
will be minutes for him. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's something to look forward to if you were Kobe, diba? Na at least now I'm gonna get minutes. I'm gonna get an opportunity. I was surprised he was guarding the si Konate basically and si yung FSAs or yung big men ng FEU when they went up against
si Shelton,
FEU.
si Big
Si Shelton,
Boy.
we'll talk about him later.
You wanna see how slight yung Kobe de Mesana is? I think it's like half the size of Montel Shelton. He was so big.
Yung braso pa lang ni Shelton no?
Kita na niya.
Malaki pa sa, exactly.
Mas malaki pa sa hita
ni
niya
Kobe.
ata eh. Mas malaki pa. Tama. Kaya nagulat ako nung siya yung nagbantay. Anyway, so I'm cheering for Kobe, just like you, Cab. Similar to you, actually, I was trying to remember itong Adamson from last preseason. And naalala ko si Coach Nash when he was interviewed. Sabi niya, he's really trying to experiment, trying to give a lot of guys playing time. So he barely played the stars, diba, sina Manzano. And yung naging joke natin to na probably the 2 players that were consistently good from the preseason and then brought it to to season 87 were 2 guys from Adamson, si AJ Franzman and then si Royce Mantua. So that's something I'm looking forward to here in the preseason of Adamson. Who's going to be like your top 2 scorers if your stars aren't playing? Kasi from last season, those are the guys that get minutes. Those are the guys that prove themselves to Coach Nash.
Erolon, di ba?
Si Erolon din,
He was
correct,
the top
correct.
guy in one of
In
their
the
teams
preseason.
and ended up, getting big minutes. Yung tama sa.
Correct. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Watch out for the top 2 guys that are performing sa preseason because they're probably going to get a lot of minutes from Coach Nash Rosella in season 87. Sa first game, we saw like Dignadiche, Ray Allen Torres, guys that have been with the team like for 2-3 years already get some playing time. So baka sila, we don't know, si Barcelona din. So ang tagal na rin niyang nasa team. He got a lot of playing time nung against FEU. So maybe those are some of the guys that we should watch out for. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the second place team. Probably one of the favorites to win the championship this coming season, the LaSalle Green Archers. Let's start with you, Gab. Something you're watching out for with LaSalle. Marami din, but
Marami.
what are your picks?
Ako, what to watch for LaSalle is who gets the usage, who gets the ball. Last season, they relied a lot on KQ and Mike Phillips from the high post. For me, with Cortez and Baclan entering, I doubt we will see a lot of Mike Phillips from the high post isolations or plays being run through him. I think a lot of the usage and ball handling will go to Baclan and Cortez. At least that's what I've seen. So what are the other guys gonna do? Mason Amos, he didn't he left Ateneo where he had a good role. I mean, he was gonna be the number one option or number one or the 1A or 1B option. What's his role gonna be like in this offense? From what I've seen so far with Cortez and Baclan in the lineup with him, he has the similar role as he did when he was with Ateneo playing in his first season.
Stretch 4.
As a stretch 4, spot-up shooter, you pick and pop guy. So far, that's still his role with LaSalle. They don't run a lot of plays for Mason to get the ball, to allow him to isolate or to play make. So far, it's more of the same as his lone year with Ateneo. So I'm watching that. Will they actually run some action through Mason or will they run some action through Luis Pablo? What are the lineups gonna look like? Is Henry Agunan still gonna be part of this team? So far, we haven't seen him. It's been mostly si Bright Noanco again. Is Bright Noanco still in line to be the FSA for season 88? I'm gonna watch that. So that means we get more Mike Phillips at center, which pushes against Luis Pablo and Mason Amos to the power forward slot. So less wing minutes for those guys. I want to see the chemistry. I want to see who gets the ball. Nung game nila against Mapua in Pinoy Liga, I think in the Next Man Cup, the ball was mostly in Jacob Cortez and Kian Baclaan. Is that gonna be the way they roll? It's mostly a your turn, my turn, between Kian and Jacob Cortez? Or are they gonna run more through the big guys? It's very interesting. Also, the bench. Will we see a lot more of Matthew Rubico? Maybe a 3-guard rotation among Rubico, Baclan, and Cortez? Because Rubico's good. Let's just put it out there. He's a pretty good point guard. And we've said this before. He's a guy, one of our candidates, na if he transfers to the NCAA, he's probably gonna become a star, and he's probably gonna tear it up there. So the fact that he's still here, I want to see the minutes for Matthew Rubico. I want to see the minutes for JC Makalalag. He was a guy who was pretty good in his role last season as a guy who gives you a spark off the bench, who can be a secondary playmaker, who can be a shooter. EJ Goliena, there are now less minutes for him at guard, so is he gonna alternate minutes with the likes of an Abada, Makalalag, and even si Boris Marasigan? Doy Dungo still there. They experimented with him at point guard at times. Is he gonna be that, or is he gonna play the wing as a spot-up shooter? I want to see the roles of these guys. Hopefully, it's not just Baclaan and Cortez show. Although I won't be mad at it. I love watching Jacob Cortez and Kian Baclaan cook. But if it's gonna be a 2-man show, it's gonna be predictable. I don't think that's the way you're gonna beat UP. I think you have to have multiple weapons that you can use. Because if it's just gonna be a 1-2 punch between Baclaan and Cortez, Coach Gold and his coaching staff can definitely plan around that. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't think we'll get any surprises in the rotation. Yung for Salle, you can just look at their lineup and say, okay, this is their rotation. It's gonna be Mike Phillips and Agonane or Nuanco at center, probably with a mix of si Mason there or si Sarmiento, but probably not. Then Mason and Luis Pablo at power forward. Then that glut of wings that they have is probably gonna fight for one slot, and then it's probably gonna be Baclaan and Cortez. So you can see the rotation now. I don't think we'll get any more surprises. Even if they get some top tier recruits, I don't think any of the rookies are gonna not rookies. Any of the newcomers, because there can be some transfers or some master students there that come. I don't think any of the newcomers will essentially have big minutes in the rotation. Alam mo na. So you just want to see how they play together. Maui.
Actually, that was what I was gonna talk about, diba? Yung how will the big three fit with Mike Phillips? When I mentioned big three, I mentioned Amos, Baclaan, and Cortez. I think yun yung top tier talaga of the recruits. I'm not sure if Luis Pablo will have the same impact as the three of them. I think they, as we've seen during the off-season, Amos has his scoring outbursts in some games, but mostly it's been Baclaan and Cortez getting much of the spotlight. Diba? Si Mike Phillips will probably be relegated to a pick and roll guy this season. I think that's his best role this season. Maybe some opportunities to still create. I think I saw a game this preseason that he had 7 assists. So maybe si Coach Topex will still run some plays on Mike Phillips. They have a lot of shooters, a lot of scorers, a lot of slashers, so that could still be the case. But yun talaga, yung fit ng 4 na yun and then finding that 5th guy. I don't know if Agonane is gonna be the 5th guy. I don't think Mason Amos should or could play 3 at the UAAP level right now. He will struggle to defend the likes of like Abadiano at the 3 or other quicker guards, diba? Maybe he can bully them in the post, but that will take away rin yung main advantage mo, which is having two very good ball handlers, diba, for Salle. But it looks like those 4 are gonna be the most important pieces, and then eventually finding that 5th guy, whether it's gonna be a big man or a wing player. I'm betting it's gonna be a wing player. I'm betting that most of the time it's gonna be Phillips at the 5, Amos at the 4, as Gab mentioned, and the 2 guards, the 2-headed dragon that Coach Topex will surely enjoy. Diba? Imagine he had the Marcelino twins before. Now he has Cortez and Baclaan, 2 of the top point guards in the country. So I'm sure he knows how to utilize these guys. I'm sure these guys will have the liberty, the freedom to create and really do what they want to do. Diba? So it's interesting to see who will be that 3rd guy. Diba? I'm sure it's gonna be a 3-and-D guy. So the guy that brings the energy, the guy that probably shoots the most consistent 3-pointers, and the guy that brings that hustle. Diba? So actually, I'm sad for guys like Makalalag and Guliena who had breakout seasons last season. Diba? Kasi where will they get their minutes? Diba? And si Gab didn't even mention Alex Konov. Where will Konov?
I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Where will Konov get minutes now that Amos and Pablo are there, diba? They will get that power forward minutes, diba? It's not like it's a similar thing with what we mentioned during the previous season with UP. Diba? We will see so little, or even we will not even see, I think, Pablo and Amos play power forward, small forward, or maybe Konov and Amos, Konov or Pablo. It's similar to the Belmonte, Turculas, and Lopez problem for UP, diba? That we were tracking.
Good comparison.
Diba? That Coach Gold was trying last season with Salle. We haven't even seen Coach Topex try it, so I don't think that we're gonna see it come season 88, diba? So I guess the biggest question is how well can they fit with Mike Phillips? Because at the end of the day, I think si Mike Phillips pa rin ang most important piece ng Lasal for this season. It's gonna be his last season this season, so he wants to get revenge and get another ring. I think they have to run a lot of plays through him, whether him being the roll man or him creating from the high post. But it's gonna be interesting to see also in the clutch. Who will take that shot? Will it be Baclaan? Will it be Cortez? Will Amos get his chance to take some big shots? Remember, with Ateneo, he had all the liberty,
Yeah,
all the
clutch plays.
all the liberty, all the usage to take
Mhm.
during the crunch time, di ba? And he shined in that role, in that limited, in that small sample size. So actually, very frustrating for me to see. I don't know how Mason will be at an international prospect if he still plays for Lasal, di ba? Kasi he's been a mainstay of Gilas. He transferred to Lasal to play 3, but I don't know if we're ever going to see Mason play a 3 at Lasal. Kasi if we look at their lineup, di ba, as Gab mentioned, these guys, they have probably if not for UP, they have probably the deepest wing rotation. Diba? The UAAP. All of these guys, Dungo could be starting for any other team. Abadam could be starting, Makalala, Gulena. The list goes on. Diba? So, I don't think that Konov, Amos, or even Pablo will get a lot of minutes playing as a wing player. They will definitely play front court minutes, power forward, even center, probably when si Phillips goes into foul trouble. Remember, Nuanco was also unplayable at times, diba, nung season 86. So if they decide to go with Nwangko, I don't know what will happen. Now they're saying that Agunane was injured the whole season 87. We'll have to wait and see if that was the case, why he was struggling and was inconsistent. I think that's something to look out for. Or will Lasal unleash another beast? Diba? Maybe the alley-oops are not just to Phillips but also to Agunane. So that's something to watch out for, given them having two very good playmakers, two very good ball handlers. But the player that I'm most excited about, I think I've been saying this on the show the past of this off season, is really si Jacob Cortez. Diba? How will he translate to the UAP? It looks like that the transition will be good during the off season, but the real test will come once the season opens. Diba? How will he still be a star in Lasal? Will he follow in the footsteps of the cool cat? Diba? So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for what's to come to Lasal. They're not, I would probably categorize them below UP right now, but they have all the talent, they have all the potential to be the champions for season 88, diba? I think it's championship or bust for this team.
Definitely. Sa dami ng kinuha ng mga recruits, dapat championship or ang ma-deliver nila sa season 88. I mean, anything with them and UP are championship or bust. So,
yeah.
Woo! Sammy.
They have the second in MVP voting MVP stats rankings from last year din, si Mike Phillips, diba? So yeah, I agree. The first thing that I wrote here, who will stand out among the bigs. So the three guys that you mentioned, diba? Si alimutan nga ni Gab, si Konov, si Pablo, tsaka si Mason Amos. There was a lot of hype around like the recruitment of these three guys, like Pablo and Mason transferring to LaSalle to bolster that lineup, and then Alex Konov out of nowhere going to LaSalle, diba? But there's not enough minutes at that position, diba? And na-explain mo na lahat, Maui. So who will stand out? Kasi in theory, they sort of fit well with Mike Phillips. They can shoot threes. So it would have been a perfect fit, pero where are they going to get all those minutes? So that's something to watch out for.
May nagsisisi na kaya? Nagtanong.
Like we will find out by the end of the preseason. Baka may magsisisi na sa kanila, but we'll see, diba? So yon, Maui, you talked about. I think for me sa wings, marami, diba? Nalista nyo sina Makalalag, sina Abadam, Golyena, Doy Dungo. The guy that stands out for me, Doy Dungo, because he was a rookie last year. So he really is the future wing of LaSalle, diba? Makalalag, Abadam, Golyena, they're all very good. They're all solid. I love them. they're great for this team, but these guys are candidates to maybe leave this preseason, or we've seen that happen, LaSalle players leaving early, or maybe leave after this season 88, diba? So, someone that we want to see grow and develop. If you're a LaSalle fan, you have to see Doy Dung. You have to watch out for Doy Dungo kasi he's going to be your wing of the future. Okay, moving on. Last team to talk about today. Let's talk about the FEU Tamaraws. So, Gab, naka-yellow ka. But let's start with Maui this time. What are you watching out for sa FEU, Maui?
I think number one si Kirby Bongkopa. Diba? Kasi we're waiting for him to debut in the UAAP, diba?
Hindi pa siya naglalaro, no?
Even our friend si VJ Pre said that he was actually the star player during their junior stint, diba? So hopefully he's healthy after that accident. But my second point, I mentioned his name, is VJ Pre. Where does he take things from last season? Diba? Will he get that KQ jump in year 2? Diba? Will he be an MVP contender? Will he be able to create more? Will he be able to facilitate more? I'm excited. Si VJ Pre could be the future of Gilas also. Could be part of the future of Gilas. This guy is one of the nicest guys you could meet, di ba? Walang kayabang-yabang, walang ka-ere-ere.
Humble.
Such a nice
diba?
guy.
Yeah.
Sobrang bait. Clearly understands that he has that responsibility to take the next step. For FEU to take also the next step and get to the Final Four and eventually contend in the seniors division. The question is, if it takes that next step, will he be in the radars of Japan and Korea teams this season? I think this is his year to shine and show that he could be potentially a prospect to watch out for. Last season really surprised me how he transitioned so quickly to the seniors division. Grabe, sobrang smooth nung transition, di ba? It usually point guards and big men usually take the longest. Point guards and yung big men looking to transition as a wing player in the college ranks are those that really have a hard time to transition, di ba? But VJ Pre looked dominant last season. Did not look like a rookie. Definitely, di ba? He had this 30-point game in his rookie season. I'm looking how will he surprise us this next season. Sana parang si KQ, di ba? Every off season, pag napanood natin, we're shocked and confused. Something new, something is doing better, leaner, runs faster. I think he has that potential to be categorized as a generational talent. He has the height, he has the tools, he has the skill set, diba? He even mentioned to us that he learned how to shoot from the outside ba and to play make in one off season. So he's just scratching the surface of what he can be. And I think he's the future FPU. Secondary na lang, I think, what you can get from the other young guys. And lastly, who will replace Royce Alforque as the leader of FPU? Can Bautista step up to the plate? Or will it be VJ Pre already, or Janay Pasol, or some of the other guys? Hopefully si Konate is surely gonna be back. Diba? We're seeing him in the offseason. Huwag na si Shelton. Diba? Huwag mo na laruin yan. You go with the guy you can play 5 seasons. Diba? You learn from Ateneo. When you get an FSA who is a good prospect as a rookie and has 5 playing seasons, go for that guy. Diba? Kasi he will have a higher ceiling. He will bring another level to the ceiling that your team can reach for years to come. So, I'm not sure. Diba? As we mentioned, we saw si Shelton getting some minutes. So, maybe they're still thinking. But we've been saying this on the show the past year, it has to be Konate.
I love that you mentioned those names, Maui. Actually, nung sinabi mo walang na VJ Pre sa future of Gilas, sobrang kinilig ako. Sobrang nag-goosebumps ako because I think the same way. I think we're gonna get a very different VJ Pre, a monster VJ Pre, a monster ERP for season 88 kasi
pag
really
pag star ka na ng Gilas, so wag mo kami kalimutan, Erp, ha?
come on, ERP. Uh, I've loved this guy since high school. For rookie pa lang, ang ganda na ng handles as a big, ang ganda na ng finishing in the paint. And we saw in the second round of season 87, he was launching up more threes. And he was hitting them. In his 30-point game, he hit a bunch of threes. And he was already taking a ton of threes. I'm excited of what he has to bring. He's definitely the main guy for FEU. Maybe not in the clutch. I still think that's Jorek's title to have yung pagka Mr. Clutch FEU. I still think si Jorek yon. But as the guy to carry this team both in during the game in terms of scoring, and rebounding, and even playmaking sometimes, it's definitely gonna be si VJ Pre. So I'm excited of what he adds to his game. Yung tama si Maui, baka mamaya sobrang may steady yung pull-up jumper na siya from mid-range, man. Once he gets that, oh my God, he's unstoppable. Or he shoots 35 to 40% from three. Oh, I'm gonna praise the Lord for if ever he does develop that. So definitely I'm watching si VJ Pre. But ako yung prime para sa akin is the bench. Last season, that was one of FEU's biggest weakness. They had 0 to no bench production. They played their starters big minutes. I remember nung game against UP in the second round, yung infill oil, Pasaol, Bautista, Pre, they were all holding their knees with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They were so damn tired because they had played 35 plus minutes up to that point. They were so tired. No one was giving them any production from the bench, especially na si Cholo Ananuevo was injured again. That's what I'm looking out for. You mentioned I'm so happy, Maui, you mentioned si Royce Alforque because he did play a key role for this team last season. So who is gonna take on that backup point guard role? That steadying presence in the backcourt. Si John Ray was up and down last season. They needed Royce. Right now, they're starting si Liam Salangsang, who was from their juniors team this past season. I wonder if he looks good. He looks good. He looks like a solid point guard. I'm not sure kung yung anak ni Denok is gonna be part of the team also, but hopefully he's still there. So they're gonna need some bench production. They're gonna need some bench minutes. Kahit di nga production just bench minutes. Some guys just to take, just to give their starters some rest. Diba? If Liam Salangsang can prove to be a stable point guard, and give some scoring, you give some shooting, he will give guys like Jorek and John Ray some rest. So they need someone like that. Jedrick Daa, can he actually develop a 3-point shot?
Can he make his threes?
That's exactly. He was a 3-and-D guy, but hadn't hit much threes. I remember that. I looked at his first round stats and he hit no threes. Despite being a 3-and-D guy, he didn't hit a single three.
3 no D at no 3D guy.
So I'm looking forward. Can he get a consistent shot and can he get some additional minutes, diba?
Sorry, Gab. I just did a quick check. 3 of 31, 9% from 3-point range. Si Jedrick Da from last season.
See, you can't be a 3-and-D guy and shoot 9% from 3. So, si Luke Felipe, a guy who sat out yung last season but is probably gonna play for this season. Can he give some production? Can he give some bench minutes for this FEU team? Ganun And the big man
Jaden
Jones. Adam
Nakai. He's top scored for the team ata in their first game.
So, but he was one of the few guys who actually got some bench minutes. Majority of the guys did not even see substantial playing time. This is very important because if FEU wants to contend, they cannot just have 5 guys that they play. They cannot be Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks, diba? Diba yung Knicks gano'n na story Like they just play 5 or 6 guys. Yung pagdating ng playoffs, wala na silang upside kasi yun na yung lalaro nila nung regular season. Yung playoff rotation nila was the regular season rotation. It can't be the same way with FEU. They have to find some reliable guys who can get minutes off the bench. So I'm looking at guys like Daa, Felipe, Salangsang, Jaden Jones, Adam Nakay, and Baguno is still there. I don't know if we'll ever see useful production from Baguno, but he's still gonna get front court minutes. I'm not. Si Ona, I think, has graduated already, so they're gonna need a backup center. I wonder who that is. I mean, they used a rotation of Shelton and Konate in their first preseason game, but you can't play them both. You know what? Like Maui, I think from what I saw from Shelton, wag na. Just go with Konate. I mean, Mo is much better. Mo Konate is just miles better. I'm sorry, just go with Konate. But they need a backup center, so they have to find one. So lots to actually very interesting team ng FEU because they have a ton of upside. We already saw a bunch of development from them last season. As the season wore on, remember they started 0-5 and then they started to ramp up. So lots to watch for FEU. A very interesting team. Sammy.
Fun fact trivia with regards to yung Tom Thibodeau minutes ng FEU. Top 3 in minutes played last season. Number 1, Mo Konate. Total 490 minutes, average 35 minutes a game. Number 2, Precious Momoway, who we also expected to play the entire game. And then number 3 is VJ Pre, 33 minutes and 28 seconds per game. So, dun sa top 3, may dalawang FEU players. That says a lot. So,
Diba?
that confirms yung sinasabi ni Gab. And I do remember one of those games then. I think it was against UP or LaSalle. I forget. Pero I think si Mo Konate was so tired, he was asking to be subbed out. And
Against
then,
LaSalle yun.
Against
They almost
LaSalle
beat
ba yun?
LaSalle.
They almost beat LaSalle. He
Mo
was
Konate playing
asking
39 minutes.
he was asking to be subbed out, and then sabi ni Coach Sean Chambers, balik ka dyan. You're not going to sit down. So, tama ka, Gab. That's a good point. They do need a bench. For FEU, I didn't overthink it. It's VJ Pre. I think they will go as far as VJ Pre can take them. He's maganda yung sinabi mo, Maui. He's always been compared to his idol KQ, so we're hoping he has the same sort of trajectory as KQ in terms of his growth season by season. But I would say why I'm hyped about VJ Pre also is I feel like he had a better rookie season than KQ. I mean, he scored 30 plus points, diba?
I said that! I said that.
Tama. Ikaw, sinabi mo nga din pala in a previous episode. So, that's why yung expectation is so high, diba? Because he set the bar so high. In your rookie season, if you compare their rookie seasons, he had more impact versus KQ. So, if you see where KQ is now, sky's the limit for VJ Pre. And that's what's so exciting as a Filipino basketball fan. Kahit hindi ka FEU fan, you should be excited because sabi nga ni Gabin Maui, VJ Pre could be a future Gilas player, di ba? The second one, you talked about it, the bench. So, sa akin, ang inano ko dito is the Phil Foreign recruits of Coach Sean Chambers versus the FEU juniors players. Na-mention niya na actually, si Mongcopa and si Luke Felipe. Two guys that VJ Pre was excited to play with or is looking forward to play with this coming season. So those are the guys that we should watch out for. Adam Nakay, I guess because he top scored for the team, played decent minutes last season. And then si Montemayor, may nickname pala siya, the Trojan. The Trojan,
I was surprised.
si Trojan Montemayor,
the Trojan horse. I'm like, what? Where did
the
this come
Trojan
from?
horse. So, just because he has that nickname, I'm excited to watch Montemayor more. So, yeah. That's it for today's episode. So, we talked about the first 4 teams. If we didn't talk about your team, we will cover them in the next episode. So, we'll do this again and cover the other 4 teams. But for this weekend, watch out. Stay tuned for all the preseason games. Asia Basket, Pinoy Liga. Preseason is
starting
underway.
to ramp up, finally.
Yeah, starting to ramp up. So at least we have something to watch. Congrats, by the way, to the UST boys basketball team. That that was a crazy game, and NU was the favorites, but UST won that one. So congrats. I think first championship in parang 20 something years,
24 years.
right? Yeah, 24 years. So
The
congrats,
Collins
shout out to
Akoe
you guys.
sweepstakes has now begun.
And we might talk about him in the next episode. So stay tuned for that. Comment down below your thoughts about these four teams. Like, share with your friends, subscribe. We really appreciate it. It helps us a lot. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.